Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I got an extra bag if you want it. Oh yeah, that's cool. Where'd you get the bag? I brought it from home.
Oh, for your dog walks?
Didn't know. I figured you never know when you might need a bag. Oh, thank you. I love it. Oh, wait till I show her, and I can put my shells in there.
This is Nantucket Sound. We're on the beach.
Take a picture of the three of us.
Okay.
Volunteers in 1972 in order to preserve the dunes. They grow in what's called a rhizome growth. You'll notice it. They're the roots, they die, but they're interlocked with each other. So like a web, they're holding together the dunes. And this grass was specifically selected by conservationists for that purpose. And so here, the grass actually looks a little sparse, but closer to the ocean where they started planting 40 years ago, it's a lot more abundant with green. Welcome to the Provincetown Dunes, everyone.
Wow, aren't they beautiful?
The Atlantic Ocean's right over there, and Cape Cod Bay's right over here. So that little strip of land that you guys drove up on to get here didn't even exist until the 1890s. In 1835, it was still an open port, and this body of water here had 200 wharfs jutting off of it. You'd have 200 feet boats come in, bringing cargo, bringing whale, remnants, and fishing gear, lobster traps, and this whole curve of the Cape was a very bustling port. But the sand from the dunes that at that time weren't covered in grass, the sand blew in and filled in the harbor. And so they built a railroad there in 1890. And what was once known as Old East Harbor became Pilgrim Lake. It's only 6 feet deep. People kayak and capsize and they stand up. It's really, nothing to shake a stick at except its beauty. And it's all brackish water, so it is views of all time on the Cape. It's one of the only points you're able to see both the Atlantic and the bay. Whoa, we're getting there. There we go.
So that's the Atlantic in front of us.
Yep, and Cape Cod Bay right behind us. It really shows you what a small strip of land we're on.
How many acres is it?
The whole dune area is about 4,000 squared acres. Provincetown, and I don't know it in acres, is 17 squared miles. So and 75% of it is national seashore, dune, beach forest area. So I want to say a good 11, 12 squared miles is all dunes.
Wow.
That was some on-the-spot math there.
Yeah.
I have a theater degree, so math is not my forte.
How long you've done this?
Art Student Tour. So you're actually with one of the veteran drivers, believe it or not. Do not be fooled by my youth. I'm one of the only drivers, except Rob, the owner, who was born and raised on the Cape. This is my only home.
Interesting.
I'm actually from Wellfleet, just a few towns over, where the oysters are from. Yeah, I always tell people I'm from Wellfleet, but not like Wellfleet. I'm from, you know, shucking oysters and drinking beer part of the Cape. But this is my 4th year with Art Student Tours. And
Busy on stage other times?
yes, actually. So being out here and growing up so close to Provincetown meant that the arts were so well supported in our school system, and so all of my artistic endeavors were very well supported. Would you like the window down?
Yeah, she gets car sick. I'm
Just a
sorry.
tad.
I didn't realize.
A Boston and Provincetown-based theater troupe. We had 8 nominations for the 40th Annual Elliott Norton Awards by the Boston Theater Critics Association. The show I was in was called Little Christmas Tree Shop of Horrors. And it was Little Shop of Horrors, but instead of flesh-eating, it was a Christmas tree. And it had a whole, they're a parody company, so they do a lot of vaudeville, burlesque, drag type shows.
Were these trees planted here?
No, these trees are all natural,
Oh, okay.
actually. Nature's stage.
Okay.
These are pitch pine trees, and this is a scrub oak right here. You can see the oak leaves.
Oh, yeah.
So when the Portuguese came here in the 1700s, this whole area was actually covered in rich hardwood forest. There was topsoil, there were even some maple trees that grew in this area, some really tall oaks. But when the Portuguese came here, they needed wood to build their ships and their houses and their docks and their ports. So they wiped out all the hardwood. And what was left were these little pitch pine scrubby trees that have now become sandblasted and wind blasted with salt air. So they stunt their own growth out here and grow horizontal rather than vertical.
What's the flower?
I'm glad you asked. I'm actually going to take down that window just so you can smell them.
What is it?
These are Rosa rugosas.
Honey, get pictures.
Okay.
Because the cranberry season is like September, October. We don't really see the cranberries start to form till like August.
Okay.
But in a few weeks, we'll start to see a pink bud flower. And it's quite pasty pink. And they turn into big fat cranberries.
Oh, cool.
Now this little body of water is really special. Not only does it constantly fuel the cranberry bog, but it's home to tadpoles. If you squint and look in the water, you can see little black tadpoles swimming around, and you'll be able to see it when we loop around. But those little guys are endangered toads. The Fowler toad.
Yeah.
Yes. They're called Fowler toads. And they grow up looking just like the sand. They turn into this very light, sandy colored, say that again?
Would there be tadpoles in the where you just went through?
Maybe a few.
But not as many as you drive through.
Exactly. Yeah, not anymore. You'll see that oasis area we passed, the one I pointed out, and this one up here, it tends to be the breeding ground for them.
It's nice to get some sun out here.
You're not squinting. There's the Euphoria shack up there.
So family unit.
That was actually used to be on the shore.
There's the party shack up there.
All of them, but
And then you can kind of see like a fancy looking house, actually, but it's really a trick of the eye. It's another dune shack, just like the rest of us, this kind of white trimmed shack. There's a loft behind it that has a child-sized bed in it, but all the shingles are falling off and the paint gets repainted every year. They got no bathrooms, just like the rest of us.
there were 23 life
It might look
saving
fancy, but
Actually, two. One's at Race Point, and it's a museum. Which one's the Euphoria? But it's not the original.
this one's a non-profit now too, so people can spend a week out here in this. Tennessee Williams is a place.
Which is
love Tennessee Williams writing. Really?
So we have a Tennessee Williams Theater Festival in town. It's going on its 17th year this year, maybe 18th. And in New Orleans, they have a Tennessee Williams LGBTQ literary festival. So I actually worked at the Tennessee Williams Festival the past 2 years in town, and they just sent me to New Orleans this past year. So I've been performing burlesque shows and different numbers and stuff based off of Tennessee Williams' work for upwards of 2.5 years now.
You guys want me to check out family photos?
Yeah, so he also spent time out here. Hemingway, Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote with Cape Cod, living Tuesday up in B-Town. Jackson Kerouac, I just mixed two names together. Jack Kerouac and Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock, they both stayed out here. Eugene O'Neill stayed in that burned down station that I showed you. When it got decommissioned in 1935, Eugene O'Neill actually lived there. Before it was burned down. That wasn't until the 50s.
1, 2, 3.
Whale watch might not be running because of the ocean being rough.
Oh, you think?
That's what they told us on the tour. So
Oh, wow, tomorrow.
maybe tomorrow, but not today.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because just went in the dune buggy though. Take the dune buggy; it's worth it.
It's worth it?
Oh yeah,
okay.
definitely worth it.
Oh, is that far from here?
Huh?
Is that far from here?
No, it's down a couple of blocks this direction. You go over to what's the name of the dune buggy place? Let me see.